Morning. So in your manifesto, you promised a growth plan which would include hospitality, which is an important part of London's economy. In fact, last year you had a press release about how important it was and how brilliantly it had recovered from the pandemic. Obviously, that was when we still had a Conservative government. Under the Labour government, the national insurance increase is a hammer blow to hospitality and other low-paid industries or industries with low-paid staff. What steps have you taken to lobby Labour to correct their damaging national insurance increase?
Well, it's important to look at the complete picture and to ask the question why there's been an increase in national insurance contributions from employers, and it's because of the inheritance from the government that he proudly supported. So the government's got to address the issue of the huge deficit they've inherited, and the two ways to do that is to reduce expenditure, basically speaking, or to increase revenues, and that includes finding additional ways to raise revenues. We've seen over the last 2 weeks concern about some of the measures to reduce expenditure with concerns around welfare benefits, and you're articulating some concern around the increase in national insurance contribution. I'm not going to pretend that that's not been. I'm not going to pretend that it's been easy for the businesses he's referring to, because he's right. If you're particularly a small business, it's quite difficult to add to your national insurance burden that you've got to pay, and I know how difficult those businesses are finding it. What we're trying to do from City Hall with the powers we have is to support them by making sure they've got more customers and they do better to address the issue of the additional overhead that they've got to endure. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really proud of the plans we've got this summer to help the hospitality sector, alfresco dining, some of the events taking place during this summer, because I recognise the challenges you articulate.
UK hospitality say that since the budget, the sector has lost 69,000 jobs. Many of those have been in London. It's a huge part of the London economy. They point out that a staff member on £25,000 a year has been hit twice as hard as someone on £150,000 a year, such as yourself. It's just a badly designed tax rise. Forget the reasons for it. It's not a debate about that. That tax rise is badly designed and hits low-paid people worse. Why aren't you lobbying the government to reverse it?
Because I recognise, from personal experience, the consequences of a poor inheritance. And what the government's seeking to do is a challenge that I recognise, which is try and fill a black hole. And so, as I said to you, there are two ways they can do it. If the members suggesting other forms of tax-raising powers, like a wealth tax, I'm sure he'll find colleagues on the Assembly who may agree with him. I recognise the challenges of the wealth tax as well, but we know there are consequences of any additional tax-raising provision from the government. I'm sure the Chancellor will be listening to the representations he makes. The Chancellor was with me on a visit to a hospitality venue in London recently, and so she knows the contribution they make towards our city. One of the reasons why I suspect the government is so keen to devolve additional powers to us, whether it's licensing, whether it's provision around Oxford Street or other issues, is because they recognise that we can support the national economy more if we get growth in London.
So you refuse to challenge Labour's badly designed jobs tax. Institute of Chartered Accountants has this week published their business confidence monitor. Came out yesterday. Quote, April's increase in national insurance contributions resulted in concerns about tax burden reaching unprecedented levels. This is among businesses in London. Why aren't you challenging the Labour government's badly designed and badly targeted national insurance increase?
I mean, the biggest reason all these businesses are struggling is because of a policy that he didn't once criticise, which all of these organisations were against, which is the hard Brexit. And so we know a bigger factor affecting hospitality, a bigger factor affecting these businesses is the hard Brexit, which is why I welcome the approach taken this week with closer alignment with our closest allies, France, and closer alignment with the EU, as well as trade deals with the EU, with India and USA. We shall support those sectors a lot.
I mean, that's just false. From the ICA survey, it says the tax burden remained the greatest growing challenge cited by businesses in the second quarter of 2025. I think what's striking is that you're very willing to challenge the Labour government when it comes to benefits, but you're not willing to challenge the Labour government over people who want to work, who are losing their jobs, people who are looking for jobs that no longer exist because of the NI. Do you not think that speaks volumes about your priorities?
Well, look, I'm somebody who's incredibly proud to be a pro-businessman. I spent yesterday evening with some of London's finest businesses, a Business London event, and afterwards with some leading businesses across our city who do a huge amount to support the national economy. I understand the challenges businesses are facing in relation to the prevailing headwinds, and I'll do what I can to support them with the powers that I have.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't involve disagreeing with the government's stupid and regressive tax increases. I'll leave it there, Chair.